Most dads say that they feel consistently stressed or burned out trying to balance work, fatherhood, and marriage, but nearly half admit feeling completely and totally alone. Men live alone, and it's absolutely detrimental to our mental health. And when our mental health is compromised, they are doom and gloom. When we're not surrounding ourselves with the right circle, it only compounds more and more doom and gloom. Isolation kills men. It kills your spirit. Brotherhood will build it. All right, so let's face it. Are you guys fried? Are you completely burnt out? Are you overwhelmed? Do you find in your life that you're like, man, no matter what I do, I just can't seem to win? I might be winning over in my business, but I'm failing in my marriage. I might be winning in my marriage, but I'm an impatient father. I might be winning in fatherhood, but my health is a mess. I might be physically fit, but my mental health is a total wreck. And what I'll tell you is those 5 areas, there's always a struggle there for us. And if you're feeling that burnout, well, number one, join the club. You're in really, really good company. Gentlemen, what's going on? My name is Larry Hagner. I am the host and founder of the Dad Edge podcast. So welcome here. If you're new, this is my Friday show. This is a solo show. Today is going to be quick. Here's what I'm doing for the month of July. And by the way, I just turned 50 on July 6th. I know it's crazy. 50 years have gone by. But this entire series in the month of July has been all about what conversations and advice I would give myself when I was 30 or in my 30s. And if you missed all, any of the Friday shows, if I can only talk for the month of July, go back and listen to all of them. Because what I did is I did a podcast. The first one was on marriage, the advice I would give myself before I was married. The second one was parenting, right? The advice I'd give myself on parenting, knowing what I know now. I have a 20-year-old son now, what I would tell myself 20 years ago after now raising 4 young men. And also the last week we talked about wealth and health. And today I'm going to close on one piece that puts it all together. And it's the perspective of mental health. I know Mental Health Month for men was back in June, but this is, I don't care what month we're in. We always got to be taking care of our mental health. And if you're feeling like I was talking about in the beginning of the show, where you're burnt out, you're overwhelmed, you're stressed, or maybe there's elements in your life where you're, no matter what you do, you just can't win, whether it's your marriage or your health or your parenting or whatever, join the club. This is a very delicate dance. It's hard, and it can be brutal on us mentally and emotionally if we're not taking care of ourselves. And I'll tell you, the older I get, the more I see how many men never talk about the things that are happening in our mind, like the voices that we hear. And I'm not talking about being crazy or anything like that, but the inner critic that's going on in our mind, the one that always wants to beat us up, right? I'm talking about the guys that will build a business, will coach Little League, will fix the deck, but inside we just feel like in a way we're dying away and nobody knows about it. And so let's get clear on some truth here. And by the way, I'm a science geek. I love statistics and I love numbers. So here are some brutal numbers that might hit home for you guys. The suicide rate for men between the ages of 28 and 50 is now the second leading cause of death for men. So that tells us a lot. Men die by suicide 4 times more than women, but rarely ask for help. So that's another statistic. Another statistic is 1 in 8 men will deal with serious depression in their lifetime, but over 60% will not get help. Over 60% will not get help. And most dads say that they feel consistently stressed or burned out trying to balance work, fatherhood, and marriage, but nearly half admit feeling completely and totally alone. Isn't that crazy? And here's the kicker. If you're filling your head with hours of doom scrolling on social media, or mindless social media, or your risk actually is going to double. So the more that you're actually scrolling through your social media feed, your risk actually doubles for depression, for suicidal ideation, for feeling alone, for being stressed out, for being overwhelmed. And studies have shown that people who watch over 3 hours of news are twice as likely to report severe anxiety, depression, and sleep problems. So there you go. And by the way, with the current political environment, I really don't care what side of the fence you sit on. And let me actually make a disclaimer here really, really quickly. I have my own political views, and I'm quite frankly, I'm pretty darn private about them outside of my family. My family knows. I have my own political views, but here's the thing: I don't hold anybody's political views against them. So it does. I say that because it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican. It doesn't matter if you're conservative or liberal or whatever we want to call ourselves. If you turn on the news, you're going to be stressed out. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're probably going to be filled with anxiety. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you that you shouldn't keep up with current events, but there's a lot of people out there that's why they go on social media. They want to talk about, they seek these things out. And usually upon seeking these things out, they feel more anxiety, more doom, more overwhelm, more depression, all of these things. And then we have the people that love to just fight about it online, which I find, that what good are we doing fighting about it online? And I know that's probably triggering to some people, but think about it. I can't remember at any point in social media history where someone actually won a battle that they were trying to fight of their political views online. And I'm not saying don't stand for what you believe, but I know that when we fight about these things online, our political views, our views on money, our views on religion, our views on sex, our views on same sex, like all these things that are insanely triggering to the rest of the world, it usually brings about more fear. It brings about more anxiety. It brings about more depression in people. It even brings about more division in people. So I just want to tell you over here at Dad Edge, and I wasn't even planning on talking about this, but I will, I want you to come to our ecosystem of Dad Edge, and I don't care what your political beliefs are. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, liberal, I don't care. My main concern is, do you have the desire to be a good father? Period. Do you have a desire to be a good husband? Period. Do you have a desire to change maybe how you were raised? If you were raised in maybe an abusive environment and you want to do good, that is what I think is our common ground as men, husbands, and fathers, is do we want those same things? So I share that with you because I don't know if I've ever shared that view or that belief that I've had ever since I started this, is that, if you're a man, husband, father, it's really, are you wanting to be better at those things? Do you have a deep desire to be better at those things? So I'm done with that soapbox, but I will tell you, when we're doing those things, it's traumatic for our mental health. So what I'm going to do in this show is I'm going to give you guys 3 ways to just help you overall with mental health that has tremendously helped me. And number 1 is you got to be honest with yourself, right? Stop lying that you're fine. Everyone says, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm busy. Fine usually means numb. Fine usually means we're drifting, kind of like what I talk about in the intro, right? We disrupt the drift of busyness, replace it with razor-focused passion, intention, and purpose, right? Fine means someday you're starting divorce papers or a bottle or online things that you probably shouldn't be looking at, or maybe even worse, maybe it's suicidal ideation. But let's start telling the real truth here. Where are you hurting, right? Where are you stuck? What's really keeping you up at night? I mean, let's face it, let's name it. And then once we face it and name it, then we can actually go to work and fix it. So I'll give you an example of this. Many of you guys know when I got really honest with myself, and I've had to get by the way, this hasn't happened just once in my life. This has happened hundreds of times, maybe thousands at this point. But I will tell you, the first time I ever got really, really honest with myself, when my 17-year-old son was 4 years old, and I promised myself I was never going to put my hands on my kids out of anger. And in a really bad moment, I spanked my son on his rear end, and I spanked him so hard that he hit the ground. And when I went to go pick him up, he looked like he was absolutely terrified of me. And what that really brought to me in my mind and in my heart was absolute devastation. And what I'll tell you is that was the final domino that fell, because at that point, I was a dad at that time for 6 years. And guys, I did not know what I was doing. I was impatient. I was hot to temper. Up to that point, I had never hit my kids out of anger. But I was your typical drifting, busy, depressed, anxiety-ridden dad. I really was. I was lost. And I kept telling myself and everyone else around me that I was fine. I was good. And on paper, like, I'm married to this beautiful woman. I had a great job in med device sales. I was making great money. And none of it was true. I was a miserable human being. I was not a great father. I was not a present father. I know you guys probably heard on a podcast or two ago that my wife, even like, I didn't even really play with my kids when they were younger, like before doing this work. Like, I was not a great dude when it came to fatherhood. My wife used to drive out of our neighborhood and she used to see this same guy playing with his kids in the backyard. And my wife, upon exiting our neighborhood, would see this guy and would always tell herself, would always remind herself, I wish I was married to a guy that wanted to play with our kids. That's the kind of guy I was, but I was in denial. Oh, I'm good. I'm fine. Got a great job, beautiful wife. I got 2 boys. They're healthy. We're all good. I'm busy. This, that. Yeah. No. I had to get really real with myself when that happened, when that spanking happened. That's how Dad Edge even got started, was like, the honesty and the surrender was, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I am so sick and tired of not knowing what I'm doing. I'm so sick and tired of being this impatient father. I'm so tired of the fact that I am not engaged with my kids. I'm tired of the fact that I don't even know how to play with my kids. I'm tired of the fact that I don't know how to communicate with my wife and we keep fighting about the same things. I am so sick and tired of the fact that I have no idea how to navigate this whole thing called marriage, and my head is a mess and I don't know what to do. That was one of the hardest things I have ever had to admit myself to myself. I don't know what I'm doing. No clue what I'm doing. And as soon as I got ruthlessly honest with myself of like, I have no clue what I'm doing, suddenly life started to feel a bit lighter. When I gave myself permission and grace of like, dude, you don't know what you're doing. But here was the next step. I started asking myself a different question. Can this be taught? Can I learn it? Is it just like anything else in life? Is it just like jujitsu? Or is it just like getting an undergrad degree? Or is it just like going and getting training as an electrician or a police officer? Can I actually learn this thing? Are there skills? And what I'll tell you is the answer to that was yes. And that's what this entire journey has been ever since 2011, is a journey of learning and training this whole thing of fatherhood. But it started with getting honest. And guys, here's the thing. Every single one-on-one client that I have, every single guy that has come to the Alliance, every single guy that has come to the boardroom, once they have filled out the application to come and do life with us, it's amazing because we always ask the same question. What brought you to the table today? What happened right before you filled out the application? And there was always a point of honesty, of a man getting honest with himself of like, I'm not exactly sure what this looks like, but I know it's going to be better than what I currently have. And it's really revealing to me, we've heard all kinds of things, but there's a moment of honesty that happens when that man fills out the application, when he meets with one of the guys on our team, or he meets with me. There's a moment of tremendous honesty that happens that I don't have this figured out. And then you're kind of welcomed in of like, dude, you don't have to. Like, you're actually in really good company because no one comes to the table on a winning streak a lot of times. It's like that Jelly Roll song. No one comes in here on a winning streak, right? But there comes a time where we've got to get honest with ourselves. So that's number one. Number two, this is the easy button for me in some way, shape, or form, but it's not for everybody. But what I will tell you, that the benefits and the ROI just completely reap rewards. And here's what I'll tell you. It's move your body, guard your mind, and cut the junk. That's number two. Move your body, guard your mind, and cut the junk. And what do I mean by that? Your body and mind, they are the same machine. And if you want mental clarity, we have to move, walk, lift, sweat. It doesn't have to be pretty, but if it's daily, that is a really, really good thing. And then the second thing is this: guard your mind. Guard your mind like an absolute savage. Cut the endless cycle of doom scrolling on your phone, because that's only going to create more anxiety between your two ears. It's only going to give you a heavier heart. Stop comparing yourself to every other quote unquote perfect life that you see on social media, right? I put a lot of good stuff on social media. My life is far from perfect, guys. It is far from perfect. I've said this on live videos before, but man, I go to battle with myself every single day. Every single day, I go to battle with myself. One of my greatest mentors, I've said this on other podcasts, is Fraser Bailey. He's like, I start in the lobby of my life every single morning. And my goal by the end of the day is to get to the penthouse. And in order to do that, I have to move my body. I have to guard my mind. I have to cut the junk out, and I have to do things right. When I pull those levers and do the right things, that's when I find myself at the top of the penthouse by the end of the day. So here's a couple of things you can do. You can put your phone down, right? Number one. You can trade 30 minutes of scrolling for 30 minutes of sweat, right? Maybe a good book or something like that. But here's what I'll tell you. I'm not saying don't keep up with news and media, but a lot of us, and I'll be really honest with you guys, before this last election, like I kind of got obsessed with it. Like it was almost like the reality show of politics that was never ending. It's like, oh, what's going on today? Like what did Trump say about Biden? What did Biden say about Trump? Like, what did this guy do? And what did that guy do? And what did this guy say? And what did that guy do? Like, it was like, and that was the only thing for a while there that was showing up on my feed. And I'll tell you, I had tremendous anxiety. I was not the same person that I even am now at the end of July. I've really have cut almost all of that out. I'll get little snippets of the news just so I'm staying current, but I refuse to turn on the news or go scrolling for political reality shows and all that good stuff. Again, I keep up with things just enough to keep me informed, and then I cut it out. And I'm talking like maybe a couple minutes a day, and then I'm done. That's it. So make sure that you're doing that. And then the third thing is that upgrading your circle of friends. Stand with men that won't allow you to hide. Stand with men that call you forward. I'm not saying call you out, but call you forward. Stand with men that hold you to a higher standard than we hold ourselves. The loneliest and most anxiety-filled times in my entire life was when I was not leveraging my network, my circle, my what I would say, my board of directors in my life. And I choose those people insanely wisely. Here's the hard truth though. Isolation kills men. It kills your spirit. Brotherhood will build it. Most guys try to lone wolf it, or they stand around other wolves pretending that they have it all together. And this is where I always tell my kids, be very, very cautious about the people that you allow into your life and speak into your life. So for instance, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you've got to hang out with other successful entrepreneurs. You have to hang out with people who are ahead of you and learning it with you and are taught by people who are ahead of you. If we're hanging out with people that we want to be like, quote unquote, want to be like, and these people are saying that they are like this, but if you really look at their lives, and their lives are a total mess. Like if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, but you're hanging out with people that their businesses are absolutely crumbling, but they're trying to teach you how to build a business, I'd really take a good look at that, right? That's not the place you want to be. So make sure you're choosing your circle wisely. This is the whole reason, speaking of entrepreneurship, this is the whole reason we built the Dad Edge Boardroom, the Dad Edge Business Boardroom. In that program, in our Dad Edge Boardroom, we have got highly successful entrepreneurs. And what they want to do is they want to continue to learn how to be successful. They want to continue to learn how to grow and scale their business. They want to continue to create the marriage of their dreams. They want to continue to create connection with their kids, because it's great to build an empire. It's great to build a business that, is able to provide so much financial means, but not at the cost of a marriage that's in shambles, not at the cost of not taking time with your kids and creating memories and connections and all those things that by the way, we have a very limited time to do, right? And if this doesn't light some urgency under you, check this out. A lot of us think we have our kids for 18 summers, right? We have our kids for 18 years and then they're gone. I challenge that a bit. I'll never forget back in 2016, one of my clients actually said that we have 18 summers with our kids. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's urgency. But here's more urgency. if you really think about it, when your kids, audio and video of their memory turns on, it's not till about 5 or 6. This is why people don't like to bring their kids to Disney before they're 5, because it's like, well, they're not going to remember it anyway, right? So you really only have to make a really big impact in between the ages of 6 to 12, in my opinion. Those 6 years are absolutely critical. They're so critical because that is your window to make huge impact. Now, for those of you guys who have older kids, you're probably thinking like, well, great, my life is hopeless. No, it's not. No, it's not. If you really get to the heart of your teenagers, they're dying to connect with you, whether they're acting like it or not, whether they're in their room with their door closed and they're scrolling on their phone, they're dying to connect with you. They really, really are. They just don't know any better. One of the things that we teach in the boardroom, and we teach it in the Alliance too, is like, how do we crack that code? How do we crack that code even with our older kids to connect with them? Because no one wants to spend the last, when the kid's 13 till they're 18, well, now we're just total strangers. They go off to college and then what? Right? That I have yet to meet a man who wants that. I have yet to meet a man who really desires that kind of outcome. We have the guys in the group that they want the opposite of that. And then we teach them the skills to go do those things, and then they get to go do them and live that life that they want. So I encourage you guys to make sure that your circle is who you want them to be. That your circle are the people in your life who you admire, who you are striving for, these people that are a bit ahead of you, just like we have in the boardroom. And for all my guys out there, who aren't business owners, we do the exact same thing in the Alliance, minus the business coaching. So if you want to connect with your kids and you're stressed out and burnt out in your career or your job or whatever it is, we teach you all of these skills in the Alliance. It's the whole reason I created this group, is because, quite frankly, men live alone, and it's absolutely detrimental to our mental health. And when our mental health is compromised, I don't have to go back and read those statistics. They are doom and gloom. And when we're not doing these things, when we're not surrounding ourselves with the right circle, it only compounds more and more doom and gloom. So guys, here's my encouragement, my call to action to you. If these 3 things really, really resonated with you, number 1, boom, get honest with yourself, right? Is that comfortable? No, it's not comfortable. And I didn't have to do it once. I have done it so many times. My one-on-one clients will tell you one of the first things that we do when I start coaching you, is we get really, really honest. We get really, really honest. It's no different than if you hire a personal trainer and you step on the scale for the first time in years and you get your body fat tested and you're like, well, shit, here's where I'm at. But there's also some freedom in that of like, okay, now I know where I'm starting. Now I feel a little lighter. I know where the start line begins. And now I can start the journey of improving and getting better and leading. Number 2, like I said, make sure that you move your body, guard your mind, and cut the junk, right? Nothing will make you feel physically, mentally, or emotionally better as when you sweat. I don't care if you haven't done it for years or how out of shape you might feel. Just get started today. Move your body, guard your mind, and cut the junk. And by the way, like I said, number 3 is upgrade your circle. This is the whole reason why I started the Alliance for all my career guys out there. This is the whole reason I started the Dad Edge Business Boardroom for all my business owners out there, is because we need tribe like this in our life. It is literally the game changer. It is the red carpet that will lead you to the life that you want to live. Guaranteed. Guys, go to thedadedge.com/mastermind. Let's get honest. Fill out an application. Surrender to the fact that, man, I don't really have this all together. I've had to do it. Over 4,000 men over the past 9 years have done the exact same thing. And I'll tell you, is it scary? Yeah, it's scary. But you know what? You cannot execute courage without fear. Never confuse that. If you take anything from this podcast, it's that. Never forget that with the absence of fear, we cannot be courageous. A lot of us guys want to be courageous. Well, guess what? You have to feel the fear and the discomfort first. You have to stand in that truth, knowing that, like, I got to be uncomfortable right now. That takes courage. Not all men are willing to be courageous. And my question to you is, are you? Are you willing to be courageous? Are you willing to stand in that fear, look that fear in the eye and say, it's time to get honest. It's time to do something different. And maybe it's with us. And if it's not with us, that's fine too. But if that is you, head on over to thedataedge.com/mastermind. I will have those two pathways right there for you. Hopefully I'll see you on the other side. And if I don't, I hope this podcast at least helped you as it relates to your life, getting honest, guarding your mind, moving your body, cutting the junk, and upgrading your circle. Gentlemen, from my heart to yours, go out, live your legendary life. Take care.